Hey friends, welcome. This is Julee Tilman, and today I'm super excited to do a little bit of an unboxing. It's of the curated coloring kit that comes with the VIP ticket for the Paper Escape with OLO Summer Break retreat that's coming up August 1st and 2nd. And I illustrated the 4x6 stamp that is included with the VIP ticket. So that's really exciting, and I'll be showing it to you in just a few minutes. First of all, this retreat is a free retreat. You get 4 coloring classes that have all sorts of tips and tricks for using alcohol markers. There are some tremendously talented instructors. The videos will be available for replay, and if you register, you get early announcements for things like currently when you register, there's a discount code for OLO that runs through May 14th. So as if you register now, you'll be emailed a code that you can use on OLO markers if you would like, but you have to hurry because that's only through the 14th. And we have a private Facebook group where we hang out, share our makes, and it's just a whole bunch of fun. The VIP ticket is $35, and in addition to the free ticket, you'll get curated coloring kit with the 4x6 stamp set that I illustrated. You'll get an OLO marker sampler pack, some A2 printed panels with the images and sentiments from the stamp set, and then you'll also get some A2 hammer mill cardstock to do your own stamping and alcohol marker coloring on. And then you'll get some digitals, and there's also some exclusive prizes. So it is a really great value. Right now, the tickets are unlimited, but on May 31st, we'll be putting in the pre-order for the physical products. So after that, the amount of tickets that are available will be very limited. So first up for our unboxing is the Happy Everything stamp set. It's a 4x6 stamp set that I illustrated, and it has a beautiful floral image, a vase with florals, a cute little stuffy, and a cute little girl. And then sentiments that read, "Oh, happy day, happy everything, hello, friend, thinking of you, happy birthday with sympathy and love." Also in the kit, you'll get an OLO Sampler pack. I don't have one of these to show, but you do get a sampling of OLO markers. They're half markers, so you can custom build your own double-ended marker. There's a connector, so you can connect them together. And they have both brush and chisel tips available. So if you're like me and rarely used the chisel tips, you can just purchase the brush markers. I believe that the sampler comes with a mix of brush and chisel tips in a random color assortment. You'll get 3 half markers, and you'll get the connectors and a little handle in case you have just one marker and you want to use that by itself. It has a nice handle that's really good, comfortable for your hand when you're coloring. And they've also included a sampling of their premium marker blending cardstock. So it's just a great way to test things and decide if OLO is the right marker for you. Also in the VIP kit, Lynn has included some A2 coloring panels. There's a printed panel for each image paired with a sentiment that's already printed, so you're ready to color right from the get-go. These are printed on 100-pound hammer mill cardstock, which is my favorite cardstock to use for alcohol blending. Plus, you'll also get 4 blank A2 panels of the same cardstock, so you can stamp and color as well. The team has also worked with OLO to come up with a palette of colors for this event. All of the instructors will be either using the landscape or the botanicals 8-pack sets from OLO for their classes. And then in addition, we have a 12 color summer break palette that's curated to round out the blends of these 2 sets. So you can purchase those packs on the OLO website. Today I'm going to share the Mother's Day card that I made for my mom this weekend. And she absolutely loves my handmade cards, especially with the stamp designs that I illustrate, so I had to make her a card with this brand new set. I have a card design in mind, and I'm going to be using some of my pre-colored images. Some of the instructors and myself pre-colored some of the images and scanned them in, and that will be included in as part of that digital bundle that's included with the VIP ticket. So I have two of the floral pieces, and I cut apart one of them so I can do a paper towel technique on the flower. The card I have in mind has a fun kind of a window flap, and it is super easy to make. So I'm just using a normal landscape A2 card base. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25 inches. And I'm going to do some partial cutting with 2 cuts up from the bottom just to that score line. So you'll need a ruler and a cutting tool, or a paper trimmer like this one will work great. For our first cut, we'll align the left side of our card at the 1.5 inch mark and then cut up to the score line. Next, we'll move our paper down to the 2 inch mark and repeat that same cut from the bottom up to the score line. Next, we'll add some adhesive to the little 1/2 inch flap and glue it to the card below. Since this is a thin strip, it can shift a little bit, so you can use the other 2 flaps as a guide when you lay it down so that it stays straight and fits right in the gap. I'll burnish that really well, and we'll set it aside to dry. Next, I have a 4 inch by 5.25 inch panel that I'm going to do some random stamping with this floral stamp. I'm going to do a black and white with a pop of color palette. So I'm just going to stamp these in black on white cardstock, and then our floral image is going to be the pop of color. I'm using my favorite black ink, which is VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It's a really deep and very juicy black. So now we'll just do some random stamping across this whole panel. Some things to keep in mind when you're doing random stamping is that you do want it to look random. To get this effect, you can turn your paper or you can turn your stamp, making sure that no 2 flowers next to each other are in the exact same orientation. It's also great to stamp off the sides of your paper to get that random pattern effect. Then at the end, I'm just going to partially stamp little bits in the open places around the edges to fill it in. Since this ink is very juicy and takes a little bit longer to dry, I'm just going to heat set it so I don't smear the ink. Next up, we're going to cut our randomly stamped panel. It is already 4 inches wide, and we are going to cut it first 3.25 inches on the long side, and then we need a 1.25 inch piece as well. These panels are going to be matted with black cardstock, so we need a piece that is 4 1/8 inches wide. Then we'll cut it at 3 3/8 inch, and another piece that is 1 3/8 inches. Then for our inside piece, we need a strip of the black cardstock for that little glued down panel, and that one will be 3/8 inches. Next up, we're going to emboss the Happy Everything sentiment onto that black strip with white embossing powder. So I'll just use my anti-static tool to keep it so that the embossing powder just sticks to the ink. And then I'm just going to ink this up over on the left side with maybe like a 1/4 inch gap. And then I'll add the white embossing powder and heat set. So I got interrupted when I was filming this and I forgot to turn the camera back on. So I've already glued down the top portion, the random stamping, and the matte layer, as well as the stamped sentiment panel. And now I'll just add those layers to the bottom of the card. I also already have done 2 of these petals on the bottom layer of the card, and I am just usually I use a stylus to kind of curl those fibers up a little bit, but this time I just had the end of a pokey tool. So I am just putting dimensional dot on the ends of each petal and then liquid glue on the inner portion of the flower, and then I'm just going to line that up over the base image and really press down those centers. And then next we'll take the top layer of the flower and we're going to add that on dimensionals as well. I added 2 layers of dimensionals to all of the petals as well as the center, and then I decide that I actually want a little more variance in the depth, so I'm going to remove those center dots and add some liquid glue and then set that aside to dry, pushing down that center so that it stays down. So now that that's dry, we just need to decide which way we want the image to cross the flaps. I kind of like it like that, so I'm just going to put adhesive on just the 2 opposite portions so we don't have any adhesive on the center of the image because that area is open, but this is what is connecting our 2 panels, so they'll move together as one flap. Next, I'm going to decorate the inside of this card. I'm just pulling out one of the pre-colored vases I did. And then I'm just grabbing an old sentiment. This is from my company, Verve Stamps, back in the day. And I think it was from Love Deepens. And I'm just going to stamp that and then I'll heat set it. Next up, I'm going to add a 1 3/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch panel to that bottom of the inside of the card. This is just pattern paper from my stash, and I'll cut that and glue it down. Off camera, I added a few little finishing details. I added a couple of sparkling enamel dots on the other side of the sentiment strip, and then I finagled another flower image across the flaps on the inside so it didn't show through from the front, but kind of covered up some of the backside of the front flower. Then I finished with a bit of glossy glaze and some glitter on the flower center on the front. So that is the finished card. I love that pop of color. My mom absolutely loved this card. She was delighted when she opened it up and saw all of the decoration inside. So if you want to own this Happy Everything stamp set, the only way you can get it is if you purchase a VIP ticket for this event. I've left links to register as well as a link to OLO marker so you can see the sets that we'll be using for the classes. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button and leave me a comment. Thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one.